Hello and happy Friday! How are you doing? I hope you are fine. We are fine. We have survived another week as co-workers in the library, so that's nice. And today we are going to do something a bit different. So I will be puzzling an illustration by Nielsen of an old Norwegian story, which is called East of the Sun and West of the Moon. Norwegian title was something different, but Jan will then read it aloud, so we will see what happens.
I will reenact it.
Yeah, so we will see what happens in the story. So that's really fun, especially because we usually do this very often. That Jan is reading aloud when I do a puzzle. So this will be very, very fun. Are you testing something?
Yes.
Okay. Pachu. I think it looks good.
Yes, there's always a big starting jitters.
Right.
It gets comfortable with it showing my face.
Okay. And the puzzle will be Art and Fable brand. And here is the image that I will do. And this was actually used in a speed puzzling competition of Ooh La La puzzles. And I am also taking part in Ooh La La puzzle speed puzzle competition on Sunday. And that will be our next live stream. And I'm super excited what kind of contest that will be and what will be in this package.
Oh, fun.
Hello, Jan. Oh yeah, it's past the sound again. Because I have done my not gymnastics, but some exercising. Right. But this will be on Sunday, and on Wednesday I had that Euro Jigsaw Jam speed puzzling contest with this puzzle, and I actually did this again because I just had to try to start with the sky. So I did this first and then these edges, and then I started here and I did this, and then I noticed that these and these are a little bit different color, so I did those first, and then it was actually quite nice. And I haven't actually checked how long it took to do it this time, because last time it took 20 minutes, but I think it was faster because my overall time was 1 hour and 40 minutes, which is 24 minutes faster than in that competition on Wednesday. So I'm very pleased with that.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and today I'm also trying to do this puzzle quite fast as I can.
Do it moderately fast.
And if I can do it in 90 minutes, I will actually get to top 5. So that's definitely my goal, to do it in under 1 hour and a half. So I hope I can do it. It looks a bit tricky though. But I like challenges. And yeah, I got I commented on this puzzle on Instagram, something like, "Oh, I have heard that story, but I don't remember anything about it, and I would love to do that puzzle." So Sanger from Ulala Puzzles, she actually contacted me that she has one extra. Do I want it? And yes, of course, I want it. And yeah, I bought it, and it came in these 2 bags because apparently these speed puzzling contests are environment friendly, so they maybe don't have the boxes of the puzzles, or so I understood. Maybe.
No,
We'll see tomorrow.
instead it has bag, and bag.
Well, this is the original bag from Art and Fable, and then this is an extra bag. Yeah. Because this was quite small. But yeah. So, yeah. And these are, of course, reusable bags. So, that's nice. And here is the puzzle. And here is the card that came with it. Art and Fable, East of the Sun and West of the Moon by K. Nielsen. And yeah, I think I am beginning to be ready. Are you ready to
No.
read?
I shall read in Hungarian.
No, then I don't understand anything.
Me neither.
Yeah. But, oh, do we have scissors? Yes, we do have scissors.
You saw the pointy thing.
Yeah. So, should I?
I am going to make 1,000-piece puzzle of it by slicing them with the scissors.
No, thanks. Oh, and this is 500 pieces.
2,000.
Yeah. Are we ready? Are you ready? To hear the story and see me puzzle. And this is my first puzzle by Art and Fable. So it will be really interesting to see what I like about it. Yeah. What I like. I don't know.
I thought there were more.
I don't know. I'll take a sip first.
Hello, Dirk.
Hello there. Welcome. Welcome.
Oh no, there's a squirrel fort.
Oh.
It's defended by pine cones or something.
Great. Yay. Great that you're here. I also look very much forward to what we are going to do.
You know
Shall
what we are going to do?
I don't. I don't know anything about this puzzle. I don't know anything about the story. Surprises! So let's do it.
Never.
No.
Shall we cancel this?
No. Okay. And let's put this timer. Ready. Okay. Ha! Cozy cabana. That sounds nice. Yeah.
Why not cozy bananas?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to wear a banana.
Maybe.
Do you need more scissors?
No, just that one.
I didn't mean that. I thought you already did stuff with the scissors.
I think I have to do it when the time... I don't know. Maybe I can do it. This is a little bit more, like, laid back now.
You can pretend to try to Vesna open it really hardly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We are ready.
Do things.
Okay, I just do it.
It's not like I have to start the first second.
That's true. Wasting time. Okay. So 3, 2, 1.
Splurge.
Go, Vesna, go!
Oh.
Oh, these are really nice and thick. Oh, uh-oh. These have this this texture.
Oh, the satin things. Do you like?
The not like
it beautiful?
velvety.
Oh, velvety thing.
I'm getting flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your favorite, the velvety thing.
Well, but I really like that Tiger Snap by Fable Pride.
Who has snapped the tiger?
Yeah, so that had also velvety texture. So I think I'll be fine. But really nice thick pieces, like I already said. But we'll
You like
see
your
what it
pieces
feels
thick?
like. Absolutely. I'm ready for the sword.
Yes, I was waiting. Are you done describing the thickness?
Yeah, I think you can start.
Oh. I do I have to read it all out? I thought I'd just read it to you.
Aloud, please, yes.
East of the sun and west of the moon. Once upon a time there was a poor husbandman.
Poor husband, what?
Poor.
This is starting great.
Yeah, you can hear anything, so it's fun.
What was poor? Not poor.
Okay, I will not read anything. That's it.
Sorry. I just couldn't understand the word. Yeah. Okay, so there's a poor husbandman.
Yes, to be very clear. Once upon a time there was a poor husbandman who had many children and little to give them in the way either of food or clothing.
Oh no.
They were all pretty, but the prettiest of all was the youngest daughter.
Of course, always the youngest.
Yes, who was so beautiful that there were no bounds to her beauty.
Bounce?
Yes.
What does it mean?
No limits.
Bounce, right.
That's what I said.
Bounce. Boo.
This will not work.
I'm sorry.
Not even close to bounce.
Sorry. Oh dear. This is starting great.
So once, it was late on a Thursday evening in autumn, and wild weather outside, terribly dark, and raining so heavily and blowing so hard that the walls of the cottage shook again.
Yikes.
They were all sitting together by the fireside, each of them busy with something or other. He just didn't want to tell. They were doing something or other.
Yeah, I don't want to think what they could do.
Not important. When suddenly someone rapped 3 times against the window pane.
Right?
Yes. I assume it's not rapping. The man went out to see what could be the matter, and when he got out there stood a great big white bear.
Ooh. Or an albino bear.
Just a white bear.
All right.
Good evening to you, said the white bear. Good evening, said the man. Will you give me your youngest daughter? Said the white bear.
Absolutely not.
If you will, you shall be as rich as you are now poor.
Ah, well,
Poor.
in that
Poor.
case.
Poor. Truly the man would have had no objection to be rich, but he thought to himself, I must first ask my daughter about it.
Really? That's very considerate.
Mm.
Wow.
Do you want to marry a white bear?
Please.
So he went in and told them that there was a great white bear outside who had faithfully promised to make them all rich if he might but have the youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He said no, and would not hear of it. So the man went out again and settled with the white bear that he should come again next Thursday evening and get her answer. And look, he said no, but
Exactly. She said no, and no is no.
but I can get her to say yes if you come first.
Oh no.
Then the man persuaded her and talked so much to her about the wealth that they would have and what a good thing it would be for herself, that at last she made up her mind to go, and washed and mended all her rags, made herself as smart as she could, and held herself in readiness to set out.
I wish I could make myself as smart as I could. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know it means the appearance, yes. Sorry, continue.
No. Little enough had she to take away with her. Next Thursday evening the white bear came to fetch her. She seated herself on his back with her bundle, and thus they departed. When they had gone a great part of the way, the white bear said, Are you afraid? Very talkative bear.
Yeah.
No, that I am not, said she. Keep tight hold of my fur, and then there is no danger, said he. And thus she rode far, far away, until they came to a great mountain. Then the white bear knocked on it, and a door opened. How do you knock?
On a mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they went into a castle where there were many brilliantly lighted rooms, which shone with gold and silver. Likewise a large hall in which there was a well-spread table, and it was so magnificent that it would be hard to make anyone understand how splendid it was, or I just don't want to describe it.
Yikes.
The white bear gave her a silver bell, and told her that when she needed anything, she had but to ring his bell, and what she wanted would appear. So after she had eaten, and night was drawing near, she grew sleepy after her journey, and thought she would like to go to bed. She rang the bell, and scarcely had she touched it before she found herself in a chamber where a bed stood ready made for her, which was as pretty as anyone could wish to sleep in.
Nice.
I always want a pretty bed.
Yeah, that's the most important quality.
Yes. It had pillows of silk and curtains of silk fringed with gold, and everything that was in the room was of gold or silver. But when she had lain down and put out the light, a man came and lay down beside her.
Oh no.
And behold, it was the white bear, who cast off the form of a beast during the night. She never saw him, however, for he always came after she had put out her light, and went away before daylight appeared. So all went well and happily for a time, but then she began to be very sad and sorrowful.
Oh.
For all day long she had to go about alone, and she did so wish to go home to her father and mother and brothers and sisters. Why can't she talk to the bear?
Maybe she will.
Then the white the white bear asked what it was that she wanted, and she told him that it was so dull there in the mountain, and that she had to go about all alone, and that in her parents' house at home there were all her brothers and sisters, and it was because she could not go to them that she was so sorrowful. There might be a cure for that, said the white bear. If you would but promise me never to talk with your mother alone, but only when the others are there too, for she will take hold of your hand, he said, and will want to lead you into a room to talk with you alone, but that you must by no means do, or you will bring great misery on both of us.
Oh no.
And this is a fairy tale, so that's exactly what she's gonna do.
Yeah, of course.
So one Sunday the white bear came and said that they could now set out to see her father and mother, and they journeyed thither. He is sitting on his back, and they went a long, long way, and it took a long, long time. But at last they came to a large white farmhouse, and her brothers and sisters were running about outside it, playing, and it was so pretty that it was a pleasure to look at it.
Ah, that's nice.
Your parents dwell here now, said the white bear, but do not forget what I said to you, or you will do much harm, both to yourself and me.
Yeah.
No, indeed, said she, I shall never forget. And as soon as she was at home, the white bear turned around and went back again. There were such rejoicings when she went into her parents, that it seemed as if they would never come to an end. Everyone thought that he could never be sufficiently grateful to her for all she had done for them all. Now they had everything that they wanted, and everything was good as it could be. They all asked her how she was getting on where she was. All was well with her too, she said, and she had everything that she could want. What other answer she gave I cannot say, but I am pretty sure that they did not learn much from her. Okay. But in the afternoon, after they had dined at midday, all happened just as the white bear had said. Her mother wanted to talk with her alone in her own chamber, but she remembered what the white bear had said, and would on no account go. What we have to say can be said at any time, she answered. But somehow or other, her mother at last persuaded her, and she was forced to tell the whole story. So she told how every night a man came and lay down beside her when the lights were all put out, and how she never saw him, because he always went away before it grew light in the morning, and how she continually went about in sadness, thinking how happy she would be if she could but see him, and how all day long she had to go about alone, and it was so dull and solitary. Oh, cried the mother, in horror, you are very likely sleeping with a troll. But I will teach you a way to see him. You shall have a bit of one of my candles, which you can take away with you hidden in your breast. Look at him with that when he is asleep, but take care not to let any tallow drop upon him. He took the candle and hid it in her breast, and when evening drew near, the white bear came out to fetch her away. When they had gone some distance on their way, the white bear asked her if everything had not happened just as he had foretold, and she could not but own that it had. Then, if you have done what your mother wished, said he, you have brought great misery on both of us. No, she said, I have not done anything at all. So when she reached home and had gone to bed, it was just the same as it had been before. And a man came and lay down beside her, and late at night, when she could hear that he was sleeping, She got up and kindled a light, lit her candle, let her light shine on him, and saw him, and he was the handsomest prince that eyes had ever beheld.
Well, then there's no problem at all.
Yes. And she loved him so much that it seemed to her that she must die if she did not kiss him that very moment. So she did kiss him, but while she was doing it, she let 3 drops of hot tallow fall upon his shirt, and he awoke. "What have you done now?" said he. "You have brought misery on both of us. If you had but held out for the space of 1 year, I should have been free. I have a stepmother who has bewitched me so that I am a white bear by day and a man by night." It's always a stepmother.
True.
"But now all is at an end between you and me, and I must leave you and go to her. She lives in a castle which lies east of the sun and west of the moon. And there too is a princess with a nose which is 3 L's long. ELLS.
There's a princess
Yes,
with a very long nose.
yes. Well, I don't know what L's are. Maybe they're really tiny.
True.
And she now is the one whom I must marry.
So
Oh no!
that is the most terrible thing of all. To
Yeah.
marry a girl with a long nose.
Oh,
Or
a girl with a
yeah.
nose of 3 L's. He wept and lamented, but all in vain, for go he must. Then she asked him if she could not go with him, but no, that could not be. "Can you tell me the way then, and I will seek you, that I may surely be allowed to do." "Yes, you may do that," said he, "but there is no way thither. It lies east of the sun and west of the moon, and never would you find your way there."
That's very positive.
Yes.
He doesn't believe in her. Dump him.
Well, he did do everything he asked not to do. When she awoke in the morning, both the prince and the castle were gone, and she was lying on a small green patch in the midst of the dark, thick wood. By her side lay the self-same. Okay. By her side lay the self-same bundle of rags, which she had brought with her from her own home. So when she had rubbed the sleep out of her eyes and wept till she was weary, she set out on her way, and thus she walked for many and many a long day, until at last she came to a great mountain. Outside it an aged woman was sitting playing with a golden apple. The girl asked her if she knew the way to the prince who lived with his stepmother in the castle, which lay east of the sun and west of the moon, and who was to marry a princess with a nose which was 3 L's long.
Oh no! Was that really necessary? That's quite mean.
"How do you happen to know about him?" inquired the old woman, who was definitely not a witch. "Maybe you are he who ought to have had him." "Yes, indeed I am," she said. "So it is you then," said the old woman. "I know nothing about him but that he dwells in a castle which is east of the sun and west of the moon."
I feel like we are going to hear that many times.
Yes, a couple. "You will be a long time in getting to it, if you ever get to it at all. But you shall have the loan of my horse, and then you can ride on it to an old woman who is a neighbor of mine." Just full of old women.
They are the stars of the fairy tales.
Yes. "Perhaps she can tell you about him. When you have got there, you must just strike the horse beneath the left ear and bid it to go home again. But you may take the golden apple with you." So the girl seated herself on the horse and rode for a long, long way. And at last she came to the mountain where an aged woman was sitting outside with a golden carding comb. A comb, okay.
Okay.
The girl asked her if she knew the way to the castle which lay east of the sun, west of the moon. But she said what the first old woman had said. I know nothing about it, but that it is east of the sun and west of the moon, and that you will be a long time in getting to it, if you ever get there at all. But you shall have the loan of my horse to an old woman who lives the nearest to me. Perhaps she may know where the castle is, and when you have got to her, you may just strike the horse beneath the left ear and bid it to go home again. Then she gave her the gold carding comb, for it might perhaps be of use to her, she said. Foreshadowing.
Of course.
I wonder if it's 3 old women or 7 old women we will meet.
I hope it will be 3.
It's always 3 or 7 in fairy tales. So, the girl seated herself on the horse and rode a wearisome long way onwards again. And after a very long time she came to a great mountain, where an aged woman was sitting spinning at a golden spinning wheel. Of this woman, too, she inquired if she knew the way to the prince, and where to find the castle, which lay east of the sun and west of the moon. But it was only the same thing once again.
We knew it.
Yes, we know. Maybe it was you who should have had the prince, said the old woman. Yes, indeed. I should have been the one, said the girl. But this old crone knew the way no better than the others. It was east of the sun and west of the moon. She knew that. And you will be a long time getting to it, if ever you get to it at all, she said. But you may have the loan of my horse, and think you had better ride to the east wind and ask him. Perhaps he may know where the castle is, and will blow you thither. But when you have got to him, you must just strike the horse beneath the left ear, and he will come home again. And then she gave her the golden spinning wheel, saying, perhaps you may find that you have use for it. Now we are soon talking to a wind. The girl had to ride for a great many days, and for a long and wearisome time before she got there. But at least she did arrive, and then she asked the east wind if he could tell her the way to the prince who dwelt east of the sun and west of the moon. Well, said the east wind, I have heard tell of the prince and of his castle, but I do not know the way to it, for I have never blown so far. But if you like, I will go with you to my brother, the west wind. Oh no. All the winds.
Oh yes.
He may know that, for he is much stronger than I am. You may sit on my back, and then I can carry you there. So she seated herself on his back, and they did go so swiftly. And when exactly, when they got there, the east wind went in and said that the girl whom he had brought was the one who ought to have had the prince up at the castle, which lay east of the sun and west of the moon. And that now she was travelling about to find him again, so he had come there with her, and would like to hear if the west wind knew whereabouts the castle was. No, said the west wind, so far as that I have never blown, but if you like, I will go with you to the
East of the sun and west of the moon.
No, south wind.
Oh yeah. I don't remember which winds have.
You must. For he is much stronger than either of us, and he has roamed far and wide, and perhaps he can tell you what you want to know. You may seat yourself on my back, and then I will carry you to him. So she did this, and journeyed to the south wind. Neither was she very long on the way. When they had got there, the west wind asked him if he could tell her way to the castle that lay east of the sun and west of the moon, for she was the girl who ought to marry the prince who lived there. Oh, indeed, said the south wind. Is that she? Well, said he, I have wandered about a great deal in my time, and in all kinds of places, but I have never blown so far as that. If you like, however, I will go with you to my brother, the...
Not south, not, I don't know.
North
Maybe
wind.
No. Yeah, no.
He's the oldest and strongest of all of us. And if he doesn't know where it is, no one in the whole world will be able to tell you. You may sit up on my back, and then I will carry you there. So she seated herself on his back, and off he went from his house in great haste, and they were not long on the way. When they came near the north wind's dwelling, he was so wild and frantic that they felt cold gusts a long while before they got there. What do you want? He roared out from afar, and they froze as they heard. Said the south wind, It is I, and this is she who should have had the prince who lives in the castle which lies east of the sun and west of the moon. And now she wishes to ask you if you have ever been there, and can tell her the way, for she would gladly find him again. Yes, said the north wind, I know where it is. I once blew an aspen leaf there, but I was so tired that for many days afterwards I was not able to blow at all.
Oh.
However, if you really are anxious to go there, and are not afraid to go with me, I will take you on my back, and try if I can blow you there.
Nice.
Yet there I must, said she, and if there is any way of going I will, and I have no fear, no matter how fast you go. Very well then, said the north wind, but you must sleep here tonight, for if we are ever to get there we must have the day before us. The north wind woke her times next morning, and puffed himself up, and made himself so big and so strong that it was frightful to see him. And away they went, high up through the air, as if they would not stop until they reached the very end of the world. Down below there was such a storm, it blew down woods and houses, and when they were above the sea, the ships were wrecked by hundreds.
Oh.
So they basically killed thousands.
Okay.
Just to get to a prince.
Sure. Why not?
Why not? And thus they tore on, and a long time went by, and then yet more time passed. And still they were above the sea, and the north wind grew tired, and more tired, and at last so utterly weary that he was scarcely able to blow any longer, and he sank and sank, lower and lower, until at last he went so low that the crests of the waves dashed against the heels of the poor girl he was carrying. Art thou afraid? Said the north wind. I have no fear, said she, and it was true, but they were not very far from land, and there was just enough strength left in the north wind to enable him to throw her on the shore.
Okay.
Immediately under the windows of a castle which lay east of the sun and west of the moon. But then he was so weary and worn out that he was forced to rest for several days before he could go to his own home again. Next morning, she sat down beneath the walls of the castle to play with the golden apple. I shall play with this. And the first person she saw was the maiden with the long nose, who was to have the prince. How much do you want for that golden apple of yours, girl? Said she, opening the window. It can't be both, either for gold or money, answered the girl. If it cannot be both, either for gold or money, what will buy it? You may say what you please, said the princess. Well, if I may go to the prince who is here and be with him tonight, you shall have it. Okay?
That was quite a good one.
This is ancient prostitution. Flipped.
Well, yeah. That's quite clever.
Said the girl who had come with the north wind. You may do that, said the princess, for she had made up her mind what she would do. So the princess got the golden apple, but when the girl went up to the prince's apartment that night, he was asleep, for the princess had so contrived it. The poor girl called to him and shook him and between while she wept, but she could not wake him. In the morning, as soon as day dawned, in came the princess with the long nose, and drove her out again. In the daytime, she sat down once more beneath the windows of the castle, and began to card with her golden carding comb.
But did she really, like, drug him or something?
Drugged or magic. I don't know.
That's not good.
Really? A bold take.
Yeah. A red flag.
Yes, one might say so. And then all happened as it had happened before. The princess asked her what she wanted for it, and she replied that it was not for sale, either for gold or money, but that if she could get leave to go to the prince and be with him during the night, she should have it. I love these moments when even the writer is kind of bored at saying the same thing again. The same thing happened again.
Yeah. But did she really try the same thing again?
Yeah, and probably will a third time, because there's 3 things.
Sure. Okay.
But when she went up to the prince's room, he was again asleep.
Surprise.
Yes, and let her call him or shake him or weep as she would, he still slept on, and she could not put any life in him. When daylight came in the morning, the princess with the long nose came too, and once more drove her away. When day had quite come, the girl seated herself under the castle windows to spin with her golden spinning wheel. And the princess with the long nose wanted to have that also. So she opened the window and asked what she would take for it. The girl said what she had said on each of the former occasions. That it was not for sale either for gold or for money, but if she could get leave to go to the prince who lived there and be with him during the night, she would have it. Yes, said the princess, I will gladly consent to that. Yes. But in that place there were some Christian folk. Oh, this is one of these stories. Along came Christianity and saved everything. Stories.
Yeah. Sure.
Who had been carried off, and they had been sitting in the chamber which was next to that of the prince, and heard how a woman had been in there who had wept and called on him 2 nights running, and they told the prince of this. So, that evening, when the princess came once more with her sleeping drink, so she did drug him.
Yeah, that's
A roofie princess.
not okay.
So when the girl went into the prince's room, this time he was awake, and she had to tell him how she had come there. You have come just in time, said the prince, for I should have been married tomorrow. But I will not have the long-nosed princess.
Because that's the problem.
Yeah.
The nose is long, but not that she is drugging him.
Or selling him.
Yes.
And you alone can save me. I will say that I want to see what my bride can do, and bid her wash the shirt which has 3 drops of tallow on it. I want to see if you would be a good wife. Wash my clothes.
God. Oh, wonderful.
This she will consent to do, for she does not know that it is you who let them fall on it. But no one can wash them out but one born of Christian folk. It cannot be done by one of a pack of trolls. And then I will say that no one shall ever be my bride but the woman who can do this, and I know that you can. There was a great joy and gladness between them all that night. But the next day, when the wedding was to take place, the prince said, I must see what my bride can do. That you may do, said the stepmother. I have a fine shirt, which I want to wear as my wedding shirt, but 3 drops of tallow have got upon it, which I want to have washed off, and I have vowed to marry no one but the woman who is able to do it.
What?
If she cannot do that, she is not worth having. So he has a choice.
Yeah, how? What?
Well, that was a very small matter, they thought, and agreed to do it. The princess with the long nose began to wash as well as she could. But the more she washed and rubbed, the larger the spots grew. Ah, you can't wash at all, said the old troll hag, who was her mother. Give it to me. But she too had...
No, but then she would have to marry the prince.
But she too had the shirt very long in her hand before it looked worse still. And the more she washed it and rubbed it, the larger and blacker grew the spots. So the other trolls had to come and wash, but the more they did, the blacker and uglier grew the shirt, until at length it was as black as it had been up the chimney. Oh, cried the prince, not one of you is good for anything at all. There is a beggar girl sitting outside the window, and I'll be bound that she can wash better than any of you. Come in, you girl there, he cried. So she came in. Can you wash this shirt clean? He cried. Oh, I don't know, she said, but I will try. And no sooner had she taken the shirt and dipped it in water than it was white as driven snow. And even whiter than that. I will marry you, said the prince.
Oh.
Then the old troll hag flew into such a rage that she burst. She just exploded.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Then the old troll hag flew into such a rage that she burst.
Oh, so it was the whole sentence.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the old troll hag exploded, and the princess with the long nose and all the little trolls must have burst too. He doesn't know. They must have burst too. For they have never been heard of since. The prince and his bride set free all the Christian folk who were imprisoned there, and took away with them all the gold and silver that they could carry, and moved far away from the castle, which lay east of the sun and west of the moon. That's it.
The end.
Yes?
Oh, it went so fast.
Yes.
I thought it would have been much... it would have taken more time.
Maybe they should have gone to 7 places.
Well, it seems that you can now join me.
No, I shall not. Oh, that had elements of many stories.
Yeah, it did. Like
Oh, these do feel nice.
Beauty and Beast.
Yeah. These do feel nice, these pieces. East of the sun, west of the moon. They just exploded.
That was so cool.
Why didn't that happen in Beauty and the Beast?
Maybe because they weren't trolls.
There were trolls and hags at the same time. They weren't quite decided upon their lore.
Yeah. Had you ever heard that story before? I thought I had heard it, but now it didn't feel familiar at all. And now that I'm looking at these illustrations, I don't actually know where these are from. Here is some crown, I think, and then
apparently there are like a million versions of stories.
Right.
There's a Finnish-Swedish version. Should I read the synopsis?
Okay.
How it's different. Like.
Yeah.
Finnish folklorist Oskar Hackman summarized a Finnish-Swedish tale from Vöru. In this tale, a large-nosed woman wants to marry a handsome man, but he rebuffs her. The woman then curses him to become a bear. The bear wanders to the forest and finds a hut where a man lives with his daughter. The animal asks for the man's daughter in exchange for getting some financial benefits. The bear and the girl live like husband and wife, but he becomes a man at night and disappears during the day, and she cannot light any candle at home. Eventually the girl goes back to her father's home and returns with some candles. She lights a candle and sees her bear husband is in fact a handsome man. A drop of tallow falls on his shirt. He wakes up and says they must depart. The girl is given a gold spinning wheel and is sent back to her father's hut. The girl decides to go after him and finds him at the house of a large-nosed woman. She tries to sell the spinning wheel for a night with the bear in human form, but cannot wake him up. On the third night, the girl sells it to the large-nosed woman and wakes him up. The girl and the man decide to play a trick on the large-nosed woman. He will set a challenge for his future bride to wash the tallow spot on his shirt. The large-nosed woman and her maidservants fail, but the girl washes the shirt. For her failure, the large-nosed woman bursts, and the man marries the girl. Well, it's basically the same.
Okay.
There's no trolls for some reason.
Or Christians.
Oh, true. There may be it was just a mold.
Yeah, true.
It was just a small. Small. Oh no, I shall not marry the long-nosed woman. Dirk says, no, haven't heard this one before, but it's fascinating to see how many of these old fairy tales seem to be built from the same motif building blocks.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Sometimes I feel like these are usually like old Germanic things when they have these castles and stuff, where there were like million kingdoms there. But sometimes it feels like they had like 5 stories. And they had all these elements that just spread out to million stories afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast, but with questionable priorities and exploding witches.
Yeah.
Yes. I do love the exploding part.
Yeah, it was so cool.
I like these old things. They usually so nonchalant with those like, and then she exploded.
Yeah.
There's no drama behind it. So like, yes, the witch's head exploded or something.
Love it.
Yeah. You tend to forget that The Disney versions are so very sanitized.
Yeah.
Brothers Grimm stories are quite different.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
original stories.
we should read those here too.
Yeah, you could read some Grimm story. You could find some
Like right now
story
or what?
Right now, yes.
Okay. Is it up there?
But it's in Finnish.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm sure you can find it from their
Mm.
wiki.
But they're not. They're never the stupidest ones. I want the sausage story.
You can. I'm sure you can find the sausage story somewhere.
Hello, Art and Fable.
Hello, Art and Fable. I'm really enjoying doing this puzzle, and I like the piece thickness especially, and also the velvety texture. It's quite nice in this one. Actually, I've done some others, not that nice.
And it kind of fits the pic.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous image. Hello Patricia, welcome. Welcome. So Jan just read the story of this and it was quite interesting. And
I
now,
do like exploding witches.
Yeah. And now he is looking for some Grimm stories.
It's in Project Gutenberg, which is great.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I do love me some public domain. You can even choose. I want to find the sausage one. Oh yes, here it is. The mouse, the bird, and the sausage.
Oh wow. So cool. It's one of our favorites.
It's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's fun to... They're not all epic and well thought of. Some are the mouse, the bird, and the sausage. Like, you know those fables, they all have some animal things. And I just love this. The mouse, the bird, and the sausage. It must be German. So, the mouse, the bird, and the sausage. Once upon... I will say sausage like that every time.
Yeah.
The sausage.
That's cute.
Once upon a time, a mouse, a bird, and a sausage entered into a partnership and set up house together. Of course they did.
Yeah, why not?
For a long time all went well. They lived in great comfort and prospered so far as to be able to add considerably to their stores. The bird's duty was to fly daily into the wood and bring in fuel. I'm thinking sticks and things and not petrol. The mouse fetched the water. How?
Yeah, how does a mouse fetch water?
A mouse mouthful of water is not that much.
True.
And the sausage saw to the cooking. When people are too well off, they always begin to long for something new. And yes. And this is the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Just be a sausage, damn it.
Don't want anything else.
Yes. Enjoy your sausagey life. And so it came to pass that the bird, while out one day, met a fellow bird to whom he boastfully expatiated on the excellence of his household arrangements. But the other bird sneered at him for being a poor simpleton, who did all the hard work while the other two stayed at home and had a good time for it. For when the mouse had made the fire and fetched in the water, she could retire in her little room and rest until it was time to set the table.
Well, that was very good. I would take that.
The sausage had only to watch the pot and to see that the food was properly cooked, and when it was near dinner time, he just threw himself into the broth, or rolled in and out among the vegetables 3 or 4 times, and there they were, buttered and salted, and ready to be served.
What?
So the sausage kind of seasoned the thing with himself.
This is so great. What?
Then, when the bird came home and had laid aside his burden, they sat down to table, and when they had finished their meal, they could sleep their fill till the following morning. And that was really a very delightful life.
Sounds good.
Influenced by those remarks, the bird next morning refused to bring in the wood, telling the others that he had been their servant long enough, and had been a fool into the bargain, and that it was now time to make a change, and to try some other way of arranging the work. Beg and pray as the mouse and the sausage might, it was of no use. The bird remained master of the situation, and the venture had to be made. They therefore drew lots, and it fell to the sausage to bring in the wood, the mouse to cook, and the bird to fetch the water. I love a jumping sausage in the woods.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
I do want a Disney movie about this.
Mm.
And now what happened? Kuinka sitten kävikään? The sausage started in search of wood. The bird made the fire and the mouse put on the pot. And then these two waited till the sausage returned with the fuel for the following day. I guess the sausage has hands. But the sausage remained so long away that they became uneasy, and the bird flew out to meet him. He had not flown far, however, when he came across a dog, who, having met the sausage, had regarded him as his legitimate booty, and so seized and swallowed him. The bird complained to the dog of his barefaced robbery, but nothing he said was of any avail, for the dog answered that he found false credentials on the sausage, and that was the reason his life had been forfeited. What false?
So weird.
What false credentials?
Yeah. What?
Did the dog check his ID or something?
Yeah.
He picked up the wood and flew sadly home, and told the mouse all he had seen and heard. They were both very unhappy.
Their friend had died. They were very unhappy.
Yes. He didn't have his ID with him.
That's why he died. Yes, of course. A very delicious sausage just jumping around.
Yeah. Without an ID.
Yeah.
But agreed to make the best of things and to remain with one another. So, now the bird set the table and the mouse looked after the food. And, wishing to prepare it in the same way as the sausage, by rolling in and out among the vegetables.
Not a good idea.
To salt and butter them, she jumped into the pot. But she stopped short long before reached the bottom, having already parted not only with her skin and hair, but also with life.
Oh no, that went very bad.
She boiled herself alive, trying to be a sausage. Never try to be a sausage.
Yeah.
Presently, the bird came in and wanted to serve up the dinner, with the mouse in it. But he could nowhere see the cook. In his alarm and flurry, he threw the wood here and there about the floor, called and searched, but no cook was to be found. Then some of the wood that had been carelessly thrown down caught fire and began to blaze. The bird hastened to fetch some water, but his pail fell into the well, and he after it. And as he was unable to recover himself, he was drowned.
Oh dear.
So, if you have chores to do, never change them, or you will boil to death or drown, and a dog will eat you. That's what will happen.
Yeah. Remember this, kids.
Very educational.
Yes.
What next?
This is now fairy tale jukebox. So if you have any favorites.
No, it has to be this.
Okay.
The Brothers Grimm fairy tales.
Oh yeah, true. But something out of that.
Oh, no. Oh. How about this salad?
Oh, this what?
Yes, the salad.
Sounds good.
Yes. It sounds like it would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, the salad. As a merry young huntsman was once going briskly along through a wood, there came up a little old woman and said to him, good day, good day. You seem merry enough, but I am hungry and thirsty. Do pray give me something to eat. The huntsman took pity on her and put his hand in his pocket and gave her what he had. Some pocket food.
Okay.
Then he wanted to go his way, but she took hold of him and said, listen, my friend. To what am I going to tell you? I will reward you for your kindness. Go your way, and after a little time you will come to a tree where you will see 9 birds sitting on a cloak. Shoot in the midst of them, and one will fall down dead. The cloak will fall too. Take it. It is a wishing cloak. And when you wear it, you will find yourself at any place where you may wish to be.
That's cool.
Cut open the dead bird, take out its heart, and keep it, and you will find a piece of gold under your pillow every morning when you rise.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yes, only a bird murder. It is the bird's heart that will bring you this good luck. The huntsman thanked her, and thought to himself, if all this does happen, it will be a fine thing for me. He's a bit simple. When he had gone 100 steps or so, he heard a screaming and chirping in the branches over him, and looked up and saw a flock of birds pulling a cloak with their bills and feet, screaming, fighting, and tugging at each other, as if each wished to have it himself. Well, said the huntsman, this is wonderful. This happens just as the old woman said. Then he shot into the midst of them, so that their feathers flew all about. Off went the flock chattering away, but one fell down dead, and the cloak with it. Then the huntsman did as the old woman told him, cut open the bird, took out the heart, and ate it. Well, no, just took out the heart, and carried the cloak home with him. The next morning when he awoke, he lifted up his pillow, and there lay the piece of gold glittering underneath. The same happened next day, and indeed every day when he arose, he heaped up a great deal of gold. And at last thought to himself, of what use is this gold to me whilst I am at home? I will go out into the world and look about me. So he will go shopping. Then he took leave of his friends and hung his bag and bow about his neck and went his way. It so happened that his road one day led through a thick wood, at the end of which was a large castle in a green meadow, and at one of the window stood an old woman with a very beautiful young lady by her side, looking about them. Now the old woman was a witch, and said to the young lady, "There is a young man coming out of the wood who carries a wonderful prize. We must get it away from him, my dear child, for it is more fit for us than for him. He has a bird's heart that brings a piece of gold under his pillow every morning." Meantime the huntsman came nearer and looked at the lady and said to himself, "I have been travelling so long that I should like to go into this castle and rest myself, for I have money enough to pay for anything I want." But the real reason was that he wanted to see more of the beautiful lady.
Of course.
That always wins. Then he went into the house. Now it's a house, and not a castle. And was welcomed kindly. And it was not long before he was so much in love that he thought of nothing else but looking at the lady's eyes. Yeah, definitely, that's what she looked. And doing everything that she wished. Then the old woman said, "Now is the time for getting the bird's heart." Don't say that out loud.
Yeah.
That's a bad plan. Now it's the time to rob him. Oh no, did I say that aloud? So the lady stole it away. Okay.
Oh.
That was easy. And he never found any more gold under his pillow, for it lay now under the young lady's and the old woman's. Old woman took it away every morning. But he was so much in love that he never missed the prize. "Well," said the old witch, "we have got the bird's heart, but not the wishing cloak yet, and that we must also get. Let us leave him that," said the young lady. "He has already lost his wealth, but he didn't spend the wealth he had." Well, maybe they robbed him of it too. Then the witch was very angry and said, "Such a cloak is a very rare and a wonderful thing, and I must and will have it." So she did as the old woman told her, and set herself at the window and looked about the country and seemed very sorrowful. Then the huntsman said, "What makes you so sad?" "Alas, dear sir," said she, "yonder lies the granite rock where all the costly diamonds grow, and I want so much to go there that whenever I think of it, I cannot help being sorrowful. For who can reach it? Only the birds and the flies. Man cannot." "If that's all your grief," said the huntsman, "I'll take you there with all my heart." So he drew her under his cloak, and the moment he wished to be on the granite mountain, they were both there. The diamonds glittered so on all sides, and that they were delighted with the sight, and picked up the finest. But the old witch made a deep sleep come upon him, and he said to the young lady, "Let us sit down and rest ourselves a little. I am so tired that I cannot stand any longer." Okay. So they sat down, and he laid his head in her lap and fell asleep. And whilst he was sleeping on, she took the cloak from his shoulders, hung it on her own, picked up the diamond, and wished herself home again. When he awoke and found that his lady had tricked him and left him alone on the wild rock, he said, "Ah, alas, what roguery there is in this world." And there he sat in great grief and fear, not knowing what to do. Now this rock belonged to fierce giants who lived upon it, and as he saw 3 of them striding about, he thought to himself, "I can only save myself by feigning to be asleep." Okay, that's gonna help somehow.
Why not?
I'm asleep, so giants won't touch me.
Who knows how giants work?
Apparently like that. So he laid himself down as if he were in a sound sleep. When the giants came up to him, they first pushed him with his foot and said, "What worm is this that lies here curled up?" "Tread upon him and kill him," said the second. "It's not worth the trouble," said the third. "Let him live. he'll go climbing higher up the mountain, and some cloud will come rolling and carry him away.
Yeah, I know these things.
Yeah, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
And they passed on, but the huntsman had heard all they said, and as soon as they were gone, he climbed to the top of the mountain, and when he had sat there a short time, a cloud came rolling around him, and caught him in a whirlwind, and bore him along for some time, till it settled in a garden. He fell quite gently to the ground amongst the greens and cabbages. Then he looked around him and said, I wish I had something to eat. If not, I shall be worse off than before. For here I see neither apples nor pears, nor any kind of fruits, nothing but vegetables. At last he thought to himself, I can eat salad. It will refresh and strengthen me. So he picked out a fine head and ate.
Yum, yum.
Is this some nutritious fairy tale too?
Yeah. Eat your greens.
Yeah, eat your greens story.
Oh, yay. Hello, Lisa. Welcome. Yeah, I've got lots of puzzles to do still.
But scarcely had he swallowed 2 bites when he felt himself quite changed, and saw with horror that he was turned into an ass.
What? Oh, no.
Now you decide not to believe that it's the animal. Just an ass. However, he still felt very hungry, and the salad tasted very nice. So he ate on till he came to another kind of salad, and scarcely had tasted it when he felt another change come over him, and soon saw that he was lucky enough to have found his old shape again. That was the pointless thing.
Oi.
He was an ass for 5 minutes.
Aww.
Then he laid himself down and slept off a little of his weariness. And when he awoke the next morning, he broke off a head, both of the good and the bad salad, and thought to himself, this will help me to my fortune again, and enable me to pay off some folks for their treachery. So he went away to try and find the castle of his friends, and after wandering about a few days, he luckily found it. Then he stained his face all over brown, so that even his mother would not have known him. Oh no. And went into the castle and asked for a lodging. I am so tired, said he, that I can go no further. Countryman, said the witch, who are you, and what is your business? I am, said he, a messenger sent by the king to find the finest salad that grows under the sun. The ass salad.
Oh, yeah.
I have been lucky enough to find it, and have brought it with me. But the heat of the sun scorches so that it begins to wither, and I don't know that I can carry it further. When the witch and the young lady heard of his beautiful salad, they longed to taste it, and said, Dear countryman, let us just taste it, to be sure. And said he, I have 2 heads of it with me, and I will give you 1. So he opened his bag and gave them the bag. Then the witch herself took it into the kitchen to be dressed, and when it was ready, she could not wait till it was carried up, but took a few leaves immediately and put them in her mouth, and scarcely were they swallowed when she lost her own form and ran braying down into the court in the form of an ass.
Really? So she turned into an ass?
Yes.
Wow.
Why are you surprised?
Well, that
It was the ass salad, after all.
True. But yeah, it was better than I thought.
Yes. The witch is now an ass.
Woohoo!
The ass witch. Now the servant maid came into the kitchen, and seeing the salad ready, was going to carry it up. But on the way she too felt a wish to taste it, as the old woman had done, and ate some leaves, so she also was turned into an ass, and ran after the other, letting the dish with the salad fall onto the ground. The messenger sat all this time with the beautiful young lady, and as nobody came with the salad, and she longed to taste it, she said, "I don't know where the salad can be." Then he thought something must have happened, and said, "I will go into the kitchen and see." And as he went, he saw two asses, and in the court running about, and the salad lying on the ground. "All right," said he, "those two have had their share." Then he took up the rest of the leaves, laid them on the dish, and brought them to the young lady, saying, "I bring you the dish myself, that you may not wait any longer." So she ate of it, and like the others, ran off into the court, braying away as an ass.
That's just okay.
This is the ass story.
Yes.
Then the huntsman washed his face. "Why? What? Oh, yeah." He made his face brown, so.
Right.
I thought it was hygiene time for some reason. Washed his face and went in the court that they might know him. "Now you shall be paid for your roguery," said he, and tied them all three to a rope and took them along with him, till he came to a mill and knocked at the window. "What's the matter?" said the miller. "I have 3 tiresome beasts here," said the other. "If you will take them, give them food and room, and treat them as I tell you. I will pay you whatever you ask." "With all my heart," said the miller. "But how shall I treat them?" Then the huntsman said, "Give the old one stripes 3 times a day, and hay once. Give the next, who was the servant maid, stripes once a day, and hay 3 times." Is stripes something to eat? What's stripes?
I don't know.
"And give the youngest, who was the beautiful lady, hay 3 times a day and no stripes." Oh, is stripes like, do you have to hit them or something with a whip?
Ah.
I don't know. For he could not find it in his heart to have her beaten. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You are good.
After this he went back to the castle, where he found everything he wanted. Some days after, the miller came to him and told him that the old ass was dead. The old ass was dead.
Wonderful.
"The other two," said he, "are alive and eat, but are so sorrowful that they cannot last long." Then the huntsman pitied them and told the miller to drive them back to him. And when they came, he gave them some of the good salad to eat. And the beautiful young lady fell upon her knees before him. Wow. Wow. And said, "Oh, dearest huntsman, forgive me all the ill I have done you. My mother forced me to it. It was against my will.
Yeah.
For I always loved you very much.
Right.
Your wishing cloak hangs up in the closet. And as for the bird's heart, I will give it you too." But he said, "Keep it. It will be just the same thing. For I mean to make you my wife."
Uh-huh.
So they were married and lived together very happily till they died.
Ah. Well, why not?
That's a good dinner story too, with the wife. You know, I was once an ass.
Wonderful. Just wonderful. Old stories are... They are so unpredictable if everything does not happen 7 times.
Yes.
But yeah.
And that's the only drawback with them. They have some of them have this strict formula.
But yeah, that's why we like all kinds of folk tales very, very much.
Then the witch exploded and turned into an ass.
Perfect.
And a giant came by and said, "Is this a worm?" "No, he can ride on a cloud later." "Oh, here's some salad." "Oh, this one turns you into an ass." This one turns you into a human.
Lovely.
Lovely ass story.
Oh yes, it was wonderful. I think you have to read some more stories still.
I'm not sure my throat can take it.
Oh no! You can just
Turn into an ass.
drink something.
I think I will have to read one more.
Mm-hmm.
I shall find the stupidest one.
These have been so good.
We shall fetch some water.
So yeah, I don't know if you can see. Maybe I should put this a bit higher so that you can see the whole thing. So, oh, I have now done this much, and I'm really enjoying this. But there's not much color, so it's a bit tricky to kind of decide what to do. And there are some mysteries here that where could those pieces go? And this this is quite small. I think this would be easier if I had the box cover and the like normal sized image. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what kind of system is this on Sunday. Is there going to be a box cover, or is there maybe a poster? Poster would be better than this card. So yeah, I'm very curious about the contest on Sunday. And yeah, these pieces feel very soft, velvety things, just like trefoil prime, I would say, almost. So that's really nice. But yeah, not that fast, because these kind of stick to each other. So, but I'm not complaining my that I'm so slow. It's not just the pieces' fault. It's me. I'm not that fast. But I'm really enjoying doing this puzzle. Have you ever done any art and Fable puzzles? Are they familiar? Do you like them? pillow. Wow.
I have returned.
Welcome.
It's a good thing you haven't turned into an ass.
I think so too.
Oh. What was that? Water and cold coffee. Cold coffee, famously good for your throat.
All right.
Shall we keep to the foodstuffs?
Yeah.
There's a story called The Turnip.
All right.
It's not absurdly long, I had to check.
Yeah. That's good.
I bet the children were really, over the moon when, yes, tell us a story. You storyteller. Oh yes, I have a great story for you. It's called The Turnip.
Oh, I want a story with a princess.
Don't worry, there will be one. Hello, Inna.
Hello, Inna. Welcome.
You're just in time for the turnip story.
Yeah, it's just beginning.
We're reading Brother Grimm stories.
Because I'm so slow.
It's a ploy. You're slow because you want me to read The Turnip.
Sure.
And about exploding witches. And asses.
That was so good.
Squirrel says, I haven't done any art and fable puzzles, but this one looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
That it is, whatever you say about it. But
yes.
Are you ready for the turnip?
Oh yes, absolutely.
I don't think anyone can be. Richard Ferborough says, big fan of parsnips, but I'll settle for a turnip story. Oh yes. They are quite grim indeed.
Hello, Richard.
Let's see if anyone explodes or turns into an ass. I love the virtues of not using a donkey but ass, because they didn't know that I will be reading in it and emphasizing ass. Yes, the turnip. There were two brothers who were both soldiers. The one was rich and the other poor. Oh. Yes, I'm trying to cool down my dog after training, but it's life-threatening here with how icy everywhere is.
Oh yeah,
it was.
is.
It was a project to walk from work.
Yeah, we almost fell so many times.
The poor man thought he would try to better himself. So pulling off his red coat, he became a gardener.
Gardener?
Yes.
That's a good choice.
Yes, if you take your coat off as a soldier, you become a gardener.
Yeah.
And dug his ground well and sowed turnips. When the seed came up, there was one plant bigger than all the rest, and it kept getting larger and larger, and seemed as if it would never cease growing, so that it might have been called the Prince of Turnips.
What?
Oh, but there was a king of turnips. No. For there never was such a one seen before, and never will again. At last it was so big that it filled a cart, and 2 oxen could hardly draw it. And the gardener knew not what in the world to do with it, nor whether it would be a blessing or a curse to him. One day he said to himself, "What shall I do with it? If I sell it, it will bring no more than another. And for eating, the little turnips are better than this.
Oh.
The best thing perhaps is to carry it and give it to the king as a mark of respect."
Not bad. It could win some contests if there
Yes.
would be some.
The famous turnip contest. Must be annoying to be the king if that's the first thought everyone gets. Oh, I've grown a large carrot. Must show it to the king. Then he yoked his oxen and drew the turnip to the cart and gave it to the king. "What a wonderful thing," said the king. I have seen many strange things, but such a monster as this I never saw. Where did you get the seed? Or is it only your good luck? If so, are you a true child of fortune?" "Ah, no," answered the gardener. "I am no child of fortune." Ding, ding. No, no. Not a fortunate son. I'm a poor soldier who never could get enough to live upon, so I laid aside my red coat and set to work tilling the ground. I have a brother who is rich, and your majesty knows him well, and all the world knows him. But because I am poor, everybody forgets me.
Oh.
Not anymore, because you have a big turnip. The king then took pity on him and said, "You shall be poor no longer. I will give you so much that you shall be even richer than your brother." Then he gave him gold and lands and flocks, and made him so rich that his brother's fortunes could not at all be compared with his.
Wow.
I'm going to be so mad if his sigil is not a turnip.
Yeah.
Of house turnip. When the brother heard of all this, and how a turnip had made the gardener so rich, he envied him sorely, and bethought himself how he could contrive to get the same good fortune for himself. However, he determined to manage more cleverly than his brother, and got together a rich present of gold and fine horses for the king, and thought he must have a much larger gift in return, for if his brother had received so much for only a turnip, what must his present be worth?
Why would he give him any
What's the
more?
logic?
Yeah.
The king took the gift very graciously and said he knew not what to give in return, more valuable and wonderful than the great turnip. It's now called the great turnip.
That's a good one.
So the soldier was forced to put it into a cart and drag it home with him. Now he got the turnip.
Yay.
When he reached home, he knew not upon whom to vent his rage and spite, and at length wicked thoughts came into his head, and he resolved to kill his brother.
What? That's the...
Obviously.
Yeah, right.
My brother grew a big turnip, I must kill him. So he hired some villains to murder him. There's a place for villains. I need some villains. Yes, yes. And having shown them where to lie in ambush, he went to his brother and said, "Dear brother, I have found a hidden treasure. Let us go and dig it up and share it between us." The other had no suspicions of his roguery. So they went out together, and as they were travelling along, the murderers rushed out upon him, bound him, and were going to hang him on a tree.
Oh no.
Yes, this always goes south real quick. First there was a big turnip, now they're hanging people.
Yes.
And fratricide. But whilst they were getting all ready, they heard the trampling of a horse at a distance, which so frightened them that they pushed their prisoner's neck and shoulders together into a sack and swung him up by a cord to the tree, where they left him dangling and ran away. Meantime, he worked and worked away till he made a hole large enough to put out his head. Think about the visual there.
Yeah.
There's just some turnip grower's head from a sack. When the horseman came up, he proved to be a student, a merry fellow, who was journeying along on his nag. I don't know. And singing as he went. As soon as the man in the sack saw him passing under the tree, he cried out, good morning, to thee, my friend." This so it's not weird at all. The student looked about everywhere, and seeing no one, and not knowing where the voice came from, cried out, "Who calls me?" Then the man in the tree answered, "Lift up thine eyes, for behold here, I sit in the sack of wisdom." Sack of wisdom!
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. Here have I, in a short time, learned great and wondrous things. Compared to this seat, all the learning of the schools is as empty air. A little longer, and I shall know all that man can know, and shall come forth wiser than the wisest of mankind. Here I discern the signs and motions of the heavens and the stars, the laws that control the winds, the number of the sands on the seashore, the healing of the sick, the virtues of all simples and of birds, and of precious stones. Wert thou but once here, my friend, thou wouldst feel and own the power of knowledge. The student listened to all this and wondered much. At last he said, "Blessed be the day and hour when I found you. Cannot you contrive to let me into the sack for a little while? Please, I want to sit in the sack of knowledge."
Okay.
Then the other answered, as if very unwillingly, "A little space I may allow thee to sit here, if thou wilt reward me well and entreat me kindly. But thou must tarry yet an hour below, till I have learned some little matters that are yet unknown to me." Still wants some knowledge from the sack. So the student sat himself down and waited a while, but the time hung heavy upon him, and he begged earnestly that he might ascend forthwith, for his thirst for knowledge was great. Then the other pretended to give way and said, "Thou must let the sack of wisdom descend by untying yonder cord, and then thou shalt enter." So the student let him down, opened the sack, and set him free. "Now then," cried he, "let me ascend quickly." As he began to put himself into the sack, heels first. "Wait a while," said the gardener, "that is not the way." Then he put him in head first, tied up the sack, and soon swung up the searcher after wisdom dangling in there. "How is it with thee, friend?" said he. "Dost thou not feel that wisdom comes unto thee? Rest there in peace, till thou art a wiser man than thou wert." So saying, he trotted off on the student's nag, and left the poor fellow to gather wisdom till somebody should come and let him down.
Oh.
Why did he do that to the student? For no reason. Why, you nice turnip man?
It's just
Sack
evil.
of wisdom. I do also want a sack of wisdom.
Weird.
Mm. Ah, apparently this is Hans and Gretel, but I don't want to read it. It's called, apparently originally called Clever Hans.
What was it?
Clever Hans. Hans.
Ah, yeah. I thought clever hands.
That I would have read.
Yeah.
Mm. Trying to find one more.
Mhm. I want to say here that this feels that it's going faster, but I have the whole text and these frames. So yeah, it will take some time.
Well, isn't the frame the text?
But then also these frames here
Mm.
will be tricky.
I do want to find the silliest one. Dr. Know-All. That sounds good. Just check how long it is. You never know it. There can be 5 pages or 500.
That's true.
Ah, I can do this.
Yay.
Oh. Dr. Yeah, Dr. Cough. Hello, Princess 1010.
Hello.
You have an apt name for this story time.
We have royals.
Please,
Also there.
please don't turn into an ass.
Yes. It was a previous story. If you're wondering.
Oh yeah. Or explode. Okay, Dr. Know-All. There was once upon a time a poor peasant called Crab, who drove with 2 oxen a load of wood to the town and sold it to a doctor for 2 tailors? I don't know. Oh, maybe it's some currency. Tellers? Taleri,
Oh, okay.
by the way.
Yeah.
When the money was being counted out to him, it so happened that the doctor was sitting at table, and when the peasant saw how well he ate and drank, his heart desired what he saw, and would willingly have been a doctor too. At that time, no, you wouldn't. So he remained standing a while, and at length inquired if he too could not be a doctor. Oh yes, said the doctor, that is soon managed. What must I do? Asked the peasant. In the first place, take a huge student loan. In the first place, buy yourself an ABC book of the kind which has a cock on the frontispiece. So first you have to learn how to read.
Yeah.
That's a good step.
Good.
If you want to be a doctor. I hope that's not the last step. First, you have to get an ABC book with a cock. In the second, turn your cart and your 2 oxen into money, and get yourself some clothes, and whatsoever else pertains to medicine. Thirdly, have a sign painted for yourself, with the words, I am Dr. Know-All. So that's basically you have to get an ABC book with a cock, clothing, and some medicine.
Then you are a doctor.
Oh. the peasant did everything that he had been told to. When he had doctored people a while, but not long, a rich and great lord had some money stolen. Then he was told about Dr. Noel, who lived in such and such a village. They didn't want to bother coming up with a village name.
Who cares?
Yes, and must know what had become of the money. So the lord had the horses harnessed to his carriage, drove out to the village and asked Crab if he were Dr. Noel. Yes, he was, he said. Then he was to go with him and bring back the stolen money. Oh yes, but Grete, my wife, must go too. He had a wife? Wonder what she said. I'm a doctor now. Okay. The Lord was willing and let both of them have a seat in the carriage, and they all drove away together. When they came to the nobleman's castle, the table was spread, and Crab was told to sit down and eat. Yes, but my wife, Grete too, said he, and he seated himself with her at the table. And when the first servant came with a dish of delicate fare, the peasant nudged his wife and said, Grete, that was the first, meaning that was the servant who brought the first dish. Okay?
Yeah. Why are you telling me that?
Yes.
No.
You'll be Grete now.
Yeah.
The servant, however, thought he intended by that to say, that is the first thief. And as he actually was, he was terrified and said to his comrade outside, the doctor knows all. We shall fare ill, he said. I was the first. I heard many versions of this too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The second did not want to go in at all, but was forced. So when he went in with his dish, the peasant nudged his wife and said, Grete, that is the second. The servant was equally alarmed, and he got out as fast as he could. The third fared no better, for the peasant again said, Grete, this is the third. The fourth had to carry in a dish that was covered, and the Lord told the doctor that he was to show his skill. And guess what was beneath the cover? Actually, there were crabs. The doctor looked at the dish, had no idea what to say, and cried, Ah, poor crab. When the Lord heard that, he cried, There, he knows it. He must also know who has the money.
What?
He was called Crab.
Right.
Just with two B's.
Yes.
On this, the servants looked terribly uneasy and made a sign to the doctor that they wished him to step outside for a moment. Want to step outside for a moment? When therefore he went out, all four of them confessed to him that they had stolen the money, and said that they would willingly restore it and give him a heavy sum into the bargain, if he would not denounce them. For if he did, they would be hanged. They led him to the spot where the money was concealed. With this the doctor was satisfied, and returned to the hall, sat down to the table, and said, My lord, now I will search in my book where the gold is hidden. The cookbook.
Yeah.
Just said ABC. The cow says moo. Oh, yeah. The fifth servant, however, crept into the stove to hear if the doctor knew still more. But the doctor sat still and opened his ABC book, turned the pages backwards and forwards, and looked for the cock. As he could not find it immediately, he said, I know you are there, so you had better come out. Then the fellow in the stove thought that the doctor meant him, and full of terror sprang out, crying, That man knows everything. Then the doctor Noel showed the Lord where the money was, but did not say who had stolen it, and received from both sides much money in reward, and become a renowned man. Yes.
Okay. That was a silly one.
Wasn't that part of the...
Yeah, I'm just wondering what
The
was it
Slavic
called?
fairy tales?
Yeah, it might have been Slavic. Yes.
They've really mingled.
Mm.
As said before, there's like 5 stories.
And this is now very interesting. That will I be the last of this?
Oh, you have 2
competition?
hours
Yeah,
time.
I have 2 hours, and yeah. Yikes.
But no one died in this. I don't like it.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Could I have time for one more?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I want to find a silly one.
That's not surprising.
Okay, this is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Thumb. B. A poor woodman sat in his cottage one night smoking his pipe by the fireside, while his wife sat by his side spinning. What? I bet she was spinning yarn or something.
Yeah.
Not just spinning.
Round and round.
Princessa says, I think you'll make it in time.
Let's see.
You shall explode if you don't. Or turn into an ass.
No.
Or a big turnip.
And so many options.
Yes. I like the idea of his wife spinning. He's just smoking there and he's spinning. And she's spinning. How lonely it is, wife, said he, as he puffed out a long curl of smoke, for you and me to sit here by ourselves without any children to play about and amuse us while other people seem so happy and merry with their children. What you say is very true, said the wife, sighing and turning around her wheel. How happy should I be if I had but one child, if it were ever so small, nay, if it were no bigger than my thumb. I should be very happy and love it dearly. Now, odd as you may think, it came to pass that this good woman's wish was fulfilled, just in the very way she had wished it. For not long afterwards she had a little boy who was quite healthy and strong, but was not much bigger than my thumb. So they said, well, we cannot say we have not got what we wish for. And little as he is, we will love him dearly. And they called him Thomas Thumb. They gave him plenty of food, yet for all they could do, he never grew bigger, but kept just the same size as he had been when he was born. Still his eyes were sharp and sparkling, and he soon showed himself to be a clever little fellow, who always knew well what he was about. One day, as the woodman was getting ready to go into the wood to cut fuel, I love that they said to cut fuel. He said, I wish I had someone to bring the cart after me, for I want to make haste. Oh, father, cried Tom, I will take care of that. The cart shall be in the wood by the time you want it." Then the woodman laughed, and said, "How can that be? You cannot reach up to the horse's bridle." "Never mind that, father," said Tom. "If my mother will only harness the horse, I will get into his ear and tell him which way to go."
Oh, that's cute.
"Well," said the father, "we will try for once." When the time came, the mother harnessed the horse to the cart and put Tom into his ear. Slap! And as he sat there, the little man told the beast how to go, crying out, "Go on!" and "Stop!" as he wanted. And thus the horse went on just as well as if the woodman had driven it himself into the wood. It happened that as the horse was going a little too fast, Tom was calling out, "Gently, gently." Two strangers came up. "What an odd thing that is," said one. "There is a cart going along, and I hear a carter talking to the horse, but yet I can see no one." "That is queer indeed," said the other. "Let us follow the cart and see where it goes." So they went on into the wood, till at last they came to the place where the woodman was. Then Tom Thumb, seeing his father, cried out, "See, father, here I am with the cart, all right and safe. Now take me down." So his father took hold of the horse with one hand, and with the other took his son out of the horse's ear, and put him down upon a straw, where he sat as merry as you please. The two strangers were all this time looking on, and did not know what to say for wonder. At least one took the other aside and said, "That little urchin will make our fortune, if we can get him, and carry him about from town to town as a show. We must buy him." "Yes, no, it's human trafficking." So they went up to the woodman, and asked him what he would take for the little man. "He will be better off," said they, "with us than with you." "I won't sell him at all," said the father. "My own flesh and blood is dearer to me than all the silver and gold in the world." But Tom, hearing of the bargain, said, lost myself. Hearing of the bargain they wanted to make, crept up his father's coat to his shoulder and whispered in his ear, "Take the money, father, and let them have me. I'll soon come back to you." So the woodman at last said he would sell Tom to the stranger for a large piece of gold, and they paid the price. "Where would you like to sit?" said one of them. "Oh, put me on the rim of your hat. That will be a nice gallery for me. I can walk about there and see the country as we go along." So they did as he wished, and when Tom had taken leave of his father, they took him away with them. They journeyed on till it began to be dusky, and then the little man said, "Let me get down, I am tired." So the man took off his hat and put him down on a clod of earth in a ploughed field by the side of the road. But Tom ran about amongst the furrows, and at last slipped into an old mouse hole. "Good night, my masters," said he. "I'm off. Mind and look sharp after the next time." Then they ran at once to the place and poked the ends of their sticks into the mouse hole, but all in vain. Tom only crawled further and further in, and at last it became quite dark, so they were forced to go their way without their prize, as sulky as could be. When Tom found they were gone, he came out of his hiding place. "What a dangerous walking it is," said he, "in this ploughed field. If I were to fall from one of these great clods, I should undoubtedly break my neck." At least, by good luck, he found a large empty snail shell. "This is lucky," said he. "I can sleep here very well." And in he crept.
Oh, that's so cute.
You like smaller things.
Yeah, I have a thing for small things.
Just as he was falling asleep, he heard two men passing by, chatting together. And one said to the other, "How can we rob that rich parson's house of his silver and gold?" "I'll tell you," cried Tom. "What noise was that?" said the thief, frightened. "I'm sure I heard someone speak." They stood still listening, and Tom said, "Take me with you, and I'll soon show you how to get the parson's money." "But where are you?" said they. "Look about on the ground," answered he, "and listen where the sound comes from." At last the thieves found him out, and lifted him up in their hands. "You little urchin," they said, "what can you do for us?" "Why, I can get between the iron window bars of the parson's house, and throw you out whatever you want." "That's a good thought," said the thieves. "Come along, we shall see what you can do." When they came to the parson's house, Tom slipped through the window bars into the room, and then called out as loud as he could bawl, "Will you have all that is here?" At this the thieves were frightened and said, "Softly, softly, speak low, that you may not awaken anybody." But Tom seemed as if he did not understand them, and bawled out again, "How much will you have? Shall I throw it all out?" Now the cook lay in the next room, and hearing noise, she raised herself up in her bed and listened. Meantime the thieves were frightened and ran off a little way. But at least they plucked up their hearts and said, "The little urchin is only trying to make fools of us." Oh. Good, you did it.
Yes, I did it.
Good.
I can check my placement real quick. So there were 9 participants, and 6 of them got this done in under 2 hours. So the one who was on 6th place got 1 hour 47, and the 7th got couldn't finish in time.
Oh.
So I would have been 7th out of 9.
You did it. Not last.
Yeah, I did it. I wasn't last, and I really didn't think I would be able to do it under 2 hours, but I did it.
Yes, you did.
I did it.
I was sure this will go fast.
Ah, okay. I wasn't sure because I actually had some false fits here. Maybe you noticed, but
I did not.
it was a bit tricky to know if it was in the right or wrong place. But yay! Thank you, Princess.
Wahoo!
You were right. Please.
Oh
Continue.
no, I have to finish this.
Yeah, sure. I want to know what happens.
So they came back and whispered softly to him, saying, "Now let us have no more of your roguish jokes, but throw us out some of the money." Then Tom called out as loud as he could, "Very well, hold your hands, here it comes." The cook heard this quite plain, so she sprang out the bed and ran to open the door. The thieves ran off as if a wolf was at their tails, and the maid, having groped about and found nothing, went away for a light. By the time she came back, Tom had slipped off into the barn, and when she had looked about and searched every hole and every corner and found nobody, she went to bed, thinking she must have been dreaming with her eyes open. The little man crawled about in the hayloft, and at last found a snug place to finish his night's resting. He just goes to places to sleep. Oh, a snail thing. So he laid himself down, meaning to sleep till daylight, and then find his way home to his father and mother. But alas, how woefully he was undone! What crosses and sorrows happen to us all in this world. A weird comment about world. The cook got up early before daybreak to feed the cows, and going straight to the hayloft, carried away a large bundle of hay with the little man in the middle of it. Is she gonna burn him?
No.
or feed him to the cows.
Yeah.
Fast asleep. He still, however, slept on and did not awake till he found himself in the mouth of the cow.
Uh-oh.
For the cook had put the hay into the cow's rick, and the cow had taken Tom up in a mouthful of it. Good lack-a-day, said he. How came I to tumble into the mill? But he soon found out where he really was, and was forced to have all his wits about him, that he might not get between the cow's teeth, and so be crushed to death.
What? Did he die?
No.
No. Okay.
At last down he went into her stomach. It is rather dark, said he. They forgot to build windows in this room to let the sun in. A candle would be no bad thing. Though he made the best of his bad luck, he did not like his quarters at all. And the worst of it was that more and more hay was always coming down, and the space left for him became smaller and smaller. At last he cried out as loud as he could, "Don't bring me any more hay! Don't bring me any more hay!" The maid happened to be just then milking the cow, and hearing someone speak, but seeing nobody, and yet being quite sure it was the same voice that she had heard in the night, she was so frightened that she fell off her stool and overset the milk pail. As soon as she could pick herself up out of the dirt, she ran off as fast as she could to her master, the parson, and said, "Sir, sir, the cow is talking." But the parson said, "Woman, thou art surely mad." However, he went with her into the cow house, the cow house, to try and see what was the matter. Scarcely had they set foot on the threshold when Tom called out, "Don't bring me any more hay." Then the parson himself was frightened, and thinking the cow was surely bewitched, told his man to kill her on the spot.
Aww.
At last, blood. So the cow was killed and cut up, and the stomach in which Tom lay was thrown out upon a dunghill.
Yay.
Tom soon set himself to work to get out, which was not a very easy task. But at last, just as he had made room to get his head out, fresh ill luck befell him. A hungry wolf sprang out and swallowed up the whole stomach with Tom in it, at one gulp, and ran away. Tom, however, was still not. He's in a double stomach.
Yeah.
Tom, however, was still not disheartened, and thinking the wolf would not dislike having some chat with him as he was going along, he called out, "My good friend, I can show you a famous treat." "Where's that?" said the wolf. "In such and such a house," said Tom, describing his own father's house. "You can crawl through the drain into the kitchen, and then into the pantry, and there you will find cakes, ham, beef, cold chicken, roast pig, apple dumplings, and everything that your heart can wish." The wolf did not want to be asked twice, so that very night he went to the house and crawled through the drain into the kitchen, and then into the pantry, and ate and drank there to his heart's content. As soon as he had enough, he wanted to get away, but he had eaten so much that he could not go out by the same way he came in. This was just what Tom had reckoned upon, and now he began to set up a great shout, making all the noise he could. "Will you be easy?" said the wolf. "You'll awaken everybody in the house if you make such a clatter." "What's that to me?" said the little man. "You have had your frolic. Now I've mind to be merry myself." And he began singing and shouting as loud as he could. The woodman and his wife, being awakened by the noise, peeped through a crack in the door. But when they saw a wolf was there, you may well suppose that they were sadly frightened. And the woodman ran for his axe, and gave his wife a scythe. "Do you stay behind," said the woodman, "and when I have knocked him on the head, you must rip him up with the scythe." Tom heard all this and cried out, "Father, father, I am here, the wolf has swallowed me." And his father said, "Heaven be praised, we have found our dear child again." And he told his wife not to use the scythe for fear she should hurt him. Then he aimed a great blow and struck the wolf on the head, and killed him on the spot. And when he was dead, they cut open his body and set Tommy free. "Ah," said the father, "what fears we have had for you." "Yes, father," answered he, "I have travelled all over the world, I think in one way or other, since we parted, and now I am very glad to come home and get fresh air again." "Why, where have you been?" said his father. "I have been in a mouse hole, and in a snail shell, and down a cow's throat, and in the wolf's belly. And yet here I am again, safe and sound." "Well," said they, you are come back, and we will not sell you again for all the riches in the world."
Yay.
Then they hugged and kissed their little son, and gave him plenty to eat and drink, for he was very hungry. And then they fetched new clothes for him, for his old ones had been quite spoiled on his journey. So Master Thumb stayed at home with his father and mother in peace, for though he had been so great a traveller, and had done and seen so many fine things, and was fond enough of telling the whole story, he always agreed that after all there's no place like home.
Mm. Oh, wow, what an adventure.
Yes, from stomach to stomach.
But now he would never ever leave the home again.
Yes.
He would just remain some, what is it, vanhapoika?
Never find anybody.
Yeah.
Just be in the horse's ear.
Yeah. Well, luckily he doesn't eat much,
Yes.
I assume. Oh, yay! Thank you, Sanger. Woohoo! Yeah, it was really fun. Fun to puzzle and hear the stories. And yeah, I can read what it says here. I don't know. Do you recognize anything that was in the story?
Where's the sausage?
The wrong story. But I think, is this some kind of ass? Or maybe, was it
Looks like a
also
wolf.
another story?
It was another story.
But
There was no ass in the east of the sun and west of the moon.
okay, but was there a wolf?
I don't remember anymore.
Because this doesn't look like a horse. That's the horse.
It looks like a weird weasel.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, it says, a folk tale in its primitive plainness of word and entire absence of complexity in thought is peculiarly sensitive and susceptible to the touch of stranger hands. They are... I wonder if there's more text here.
Clearly not.
What?
Clearly not.
Well, yeah. They are the romances of the childhood of nations. They are the never-failing springs of sentiment, of sensation, of heroic example from which primeval peoples drank their fill.
Yes. That's a fancy way to say about the sausage story.
Yes, yes. It's a good thing we have stories.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of cream to go around. We might do this another time too.
Yeah, this was really nice. I have to look for some fairy tale puzzle. But this was really nice to do.
Mm.
And it got such a nice old feel to it. I don't actually know when this was done, this illustration. I didn't check it out.
Oh.
I might. But yeah, we often do it that I do puzzles and then Jan is reading some folk tales to me, and it's the best. And
Usually silly ones.
silly ones, yeah, that's
Like there's others.
yeah. That's our specialty. And we have especially liked some like some Japanese stories.
Oh, they are the weirdest. Yeah.
They are very, very weird.
There's always flying heads.
Yes, yeah, flying heads and tea that turn into some animals. Anyway, and then some Siberian stories. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see if I can find the
Just look for King
information.
Nielsen.
Yeah, I did.
Mm.
But maybe kings only.
Yeah.
Chupa, 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 chupa.
Chupadoo.
So he was born in Denmark in 1886.
What? Died in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
57. Mm.
Right.
Art Nouveau.
And this story is actually his notable work.
Mm. As an illustrator.
Mm. Yeah, it would be lovely to see all the illustrations of the story. Yeah, this was published in 1940.
Mm.
Yes, in London. Yeah, it was actually his second work or second book. So really nice.
Mm.
Mm.
Good backstory.
Yeah. I try to see if I can find it from some library sometime.
Oh, yes.
Good. Because of course you can borrow from other libraries as well, and it only costs a few euros. So it's a good thing we have libraries. I'm saying as a librarian. Yeah. And he is almost a librarian too.
Mm.
Now that he is my co-worker there.
Is there some ritual you have to perform?
I don't know.
You have to
Yeah.
eat the wrong cabbage.
Yeah. That one. Yep. Yeah, so luckily when I get that book, then this will make more sense too. So this is a bigger project.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
The Folktale project.
Yeah. And there are some really interesting things here because there are all these kind of, I don't know, are these ghosts or what are they?
They are ghostly things.
Yeah, very ghostly things. So that's really intriguing. And this beastie thing, I think I could show you actually.
Oh no. Again, the shaky cat.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Maybe it will work this time.
Hope so. So yeah.
I'm very surprised.
Very blurry.
Yes.
Yeah. It's nice to be a librarian, but also quite difficult at times, especially when you should kind of know everything about everything. So,
there's a lot of moving parts.
yeah. So maybe you cannot really see, but these have faces and Oh dear.
Oh, it didn't work this time either.
I thought it has worked sometime. And this is some weird animal. I'm curious what it is.
It's a big weasel.
Could be. And there's something, I don't know. It doesn't, I don't think it looks the face of this person here. So I think this might be some magic.
Magic face.
Yeah, or maybe there's someone. I don't know. Curious. And here is the white horse.
Of doom.
And here are the the young couple. I assume that, and he is not a bear. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't see the girl with the long nose.
It can't fit in this picture.
Maybe not. Okay, now I'm actually hungry. Yeah, the thing I love most about being a librarian is that I can help people, and it's free for everyone. So people can borrow things for free and I can help them, and yeah, I really love it. And also like yeah, books, of course. There's everything that you ever need. Books, movies, music, sheet music, snowshoes. Yeah, there are all kinds of items also, and really nice events and puzzles too.
Now there's puzzles.
Yeah, so what's not to love? There's everything you need, and it doesn't cost anything. I love it. I really, really love it. I think so too. But yeah, now I'm hungry and I'm holding this very heavy, shaky, yeah, thing. So I think we have to leave. But on Sunday we are, or actually I am going to participate in this speed puzzle competition, and Jan will be there as well, and yeah,
I will be useless again.
And I will try to do this puzzle, whatever it is, and I am so curious what it is.
Maybe
I don't know anything.
Maybe it's west of the sun and east of the moon.
And I think it's quite heavy. But I'm super scared.
It's full of turnips.
Could be. Yeah, but thank you for watching this silliness, yes, and we hope to see you also on Sunday. So, and oh yeah, and have a very nice weekend. It's Friday, woohoo! So yeah, I hope you have a really nice weekend and that you can puzzle as much as you want to.
That's what people do on weekends, right?
I hope so. And yeah, hope to see you on Sunday.
You have to do everything.
Okay. Happy puzzling. See you. And thank you for watching.
Be